Hey everyone, so today I want to make a little bit of a different video. I know that I'm supposed to be making a showcase for Kenpachi, but I will be honest, I haven't gotten any good stamps on him. Well, I got this pretty good one. Obviously I want to switch this to something else, but this is what I'm rocking with for right now until I can get some better pieces, obviously. But I want to talk about some of the things, or specifically more about Kenpachi. Now, obviously, he dropped yesterday, and there's gonna be like a different things that I will talk about in regards to Kenpachi and also Slash. The first thing I guess we can get out of the way is that I don't know. In a way, it feels weird to already have a Slash character releasing in the game. Now, I do know that some newer players started playing the game obviously after Ichigo, so they won't have that Slash character. So therefore, Kenpachi is really good for them. But as to people who have been playing the game since probably day one or the first week or since Ichigo was in the game, it feels a little bit too weird that they're already trying to probably kind of like replace him when Ichigo is... I'm not going to say that he's the best character. He does feel outdated compared to the other units that dropped after him, but it does feel a tad weird. Now, the second thing that I do want to go in regards to Kenpachi as well is that he feels clunky. When you look at his build stat, you're looking at ailment, crit rate, crit damage for him. You don't need attack because he's actually self-buffing himself with a lot of attack. And his stamps actually do give him basic attack percentage and crit damage to himself with the cleave. Now, personally myself, I don't like how they're making these DPS characters so far with ailment or some type of outside damage compared to just, for example, like Toshiro. All you need is just attack, crit rate, crit damage, and he's doing a lot of damage. There's no way for a character to have to be built with so many different things just for them to be able to function. Now, the other thing is as well is that if you don't have any dupes for this character, you're playing at B0. I don't know, like I feel like I'm gonna say something that feels a little crazy, but he kind of feels like a standard unit. It's a little bit crazy to think about because Kenpachi's supposed to be like a, lore-wise, obviously. He's supposed to be a really strong character, especially the Wekamundo version that we got. He's supposed to be a strong character, and he just doesn't feel like he's delivering. Now, that could be tied to a couple different things. The first one is that they're just, for some odd reason, just releasing DPS after DPS after DPS. And it's getting to a point where if you don't have any, for example, I'm going to use Ginichimaru as an example, right? He is a thrust unit who kind of relies on debuffs because that's where he gets a lot of damage for himself. But he does have Kaname, but he is a standard 5-star. So he is very, very weak, I want to say. But let's just say that later in the future, I'm going to throw a random character. Let's say that Mayuri, right? He's supposed to be a support character. Let's say that he works around debuffing enemies. Now, if he's debuffing and causing some type of like, I don't know, defense down or bleed or anything like that, he is going to be already buffing Ginichimaru. We just honestly need more supports or tactics in the game, okay? Like, as much as I love Aizen, I don't know. I feel like they released this man too early. Like, Aizen is so strong, and it feels so fun to play with him. I'm not saying that he isn't. But Aizen, I feel like, set the bar extremely high. And when you're getting these DPS characters, you're like, well, I don't know if these DPS are performing as high as Aizen. Which is crazy because Aizen is a tactical unit. And the DPS are underperforming just by a little bit compared to Aizen. And when I say these things, I'm kind of referring to B6, by the way. So do keep that in mind. I'm playing these characters at a higher boundary. The second thing I want to talk about is his weapon. This man's weapon, so he relies a lot on critting, right? So if you look at his weapon, he says that when any Kenpachi's attack lands a critical hit, it triggers an additional damage hitting equal to 40% of that attack. This man has no crit rate in his build at all. Like, there's no crit rate. He has crit damage, but no crit rate. That means that you have to literally get 100% crit rate or close to 100 as much as you can based on stamps. That is crazy. And I know that you're probably thinking like, oh, but there's Yachiro. You can just use Yachiro to buff him. I understand that, but Yachiro is a character. She's a 4-star to begin with, so she's not gonna be buffing a lot. And I know she got buffed herself, but they only did it by 1.5. Like, come on now, that's a little bit comical, I guess you could say. Yachiro just feels extremely weird because she's off the field all the time. Like, the only time you ever use Yachiro is when you start the battle. You use the skill, immediately swap out, and then she's gonna start spectating. I believe that's what it's called, and she's gonna be giving you those buffs, but you never really swap out to her. She just stays off field. We need a 5-star support that's able to give us crit rate, so that way some characters feel a lot better to build without having to go through this much hassle. I really don't understand what their obsession is with just releasing DPS characters when you can be releasing a tactical. Like, let's say if they were preparing to release Kenny, right? Just a thought. Let's say that instead of releasing Kenny, they would have dropped, let's say, Neliel. And let's say the Neliel is going to be buffing him indirectly, giving him, I don't know, more crit rate, giving him stuff to just make him a lot more easygoing. It would make sense because we would get her, be like, oh, okay, so she is a tactical, she's a limited. I know that she's kind of meant for Kenpachi, but for the time being, she's going to be buffing my Slash team, or who knows, maybe even other teams as well. So that's a good thing. But when you release a DPS first, and then you're probably needing of a support in the future or a tactical unit, it just feels so clunky. He feels slow. His damage isn't as high as the other DPS characters. It is just, I don't know. I'm disappointed. I don't know, like, if I'm just crazy. Am I just insane? And I definitely want to know what you guys think about that, because there is a lot of people who have been pretty upset in regards to his kit and gameplay. Now, I know that there was a leak, obviously, for him before he came out, and the leaked version sounded really broken. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say like, oh my god, well, they should have kept it that way. I feel like they should have definitely kept the leaked version where he gave himself crit rate, and then just tone it down. Like, let's say instead of giving himself, I think it was like 150 crit rate or some crazy number like that, drop it down. Shoot, give us 50 crit rate, give us something, some type of crit rate. If you want this character to be consistently doing damage with crit rate and ailment and all these kind of things, give it in his kit as well. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm just a little mad. Now, I hope that the devs do see this, and I hope they somehow address or like talk about exactly what their plans might be. I don't know if they're gonna buff him. I don't know if they're just gonna probably release a character that's gonna help him out next, because a lot of talk in the town has been that apparently like Grimjow's gonna be the next unit. He probably is gonna be like a strike DPS character. At this point, honestly, I wouldn't even be upset if they actually release Neliel next. We don't need more DPS. As much as I know the strike needs help, we need support for these characters. This is starting to feel like just a DPS fest. Just DPS is everywhere. But yes, I definitely want to hear you guys' intake, especially if you have him at B0 or B1 or B2. How do you feel about him? I definitely want to hear people's take on this and how they're handling with him. But I'm going to stop there because I don't want to sound like I am shitting on the game or shitting on anything like that, because I truly love this game and it's been doing really good. This is like the first disappointment that I feel like I've seen, and I just hope that they somehow address and make him better one way or another. That being said, though, I will catch you guys on the next video, and I'm still debating or seeing how I'm going to do a showcase of him. I probably will, but once I do, the numbers are just going to be, I don't know, probably a little bit underwhelming though. But yeah, I'm going to stop yapping. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Goodbye.